Good morning, everybody. I'm going to do another morning devotional. First, I want to just thank all of you who have reached out to me in direct messages, who have given me phone calls or allowed me to call you. Folks, the phone calls I had yesterday, people just exposing their hearts to me and allowing me to pray with them and over them, and allow just to listen. The messages I read, and I shared some of those on my story, I was just overwhelmed at the response. And so I hope that if you're out there and you're listening to this, that God will speak through me to you. In fact, I have confidence that He's going to speak through me to you to tell you what you need to hear today, this week, to make it through whatever it is. But please reach out to me if I can pray or be there in any other way for you. You know that I am. To get started, well, first I have to say I have my tea, of course. English breakfast with a little bit of honey. It was just so good yesterday, I couldn't pull myself to something else. And so we're enjoying that this morning. And thank you for sharing the things you are drinking as well. There's a sign, a little quote that circulates often that I always love whenever I see it. It says basically, be yourself because everybody else is taken. And I love that. Now, if we're honest, we don't really have a choice in that. But the hitch comes whenever we try to be anybody else but ourselves. And we all do this, right? Like, we want to be richer or skinnier. We want to have better degrees, or we want to have more popular friends. We can just go to the most basic desires, and we all strive for these. We want to feel love. We want to feel like we have a purpose. We want to feel connection. And we know we desire these, and we all desire them because people will try to do whatever it takes to sell us by tapping into those basic needs. They'll try to sell things to us. So we need to experience, or we want to experience, love. And so what happens is we go into these relationships seeking love and acceptance, even if they're toxic for us. Like, we strive for purpose in our lives, so we'll join these social groups that have some kind of issue they're fighting for, and we'll attach our identity to that social group. We desire connection, and so we'll do whatever it takes to buy the uniform to fit into that social group better. We'll expend our resources to fit in with them. We'll push people away so that we can fit in with a certain niche. And most of all, we all have a desire for those few authentic relationships. And oftentimes what I see is that people will sacrifice who they really are for who they think they're supposed to be. But God tells us a different story of love and belonging. There's a psalm that I go to often. It's Psalm 119. I just can never get the words out of my head whenever I think of God creating. The psalmist, he cries out and he says, God, you knitted me, you know my innermost being. You knitted me in my mother's womb. God, you know my innermost being. You know everything happening inside of here and here. You know all my doubts and my fears and my anxieties. You know all my pains. God, you knitted me. You're like a master over a masterpiece. You're an artist to an empty canvas. You pieced me together. And the Bible says in Genesis, it says, God looked at His creation. You know what He said? And you know what I think God is still saying whenever He's creating each of us? It is good. There is no exception. God didn't say it is good, but. He said it is good. And God made us with all of these varieties. He made us with all these different flavors. He made us with all of these different personalities. And the beautiful thing is that God shows Himself and He reveals Himself in those varieties. He reveals His character and His personality. Like, some of us are sensitive. Others of us are analytical. Some of us are slender. Other of us are really burly. Some of us are soft-spoken. Other of us are rambunctious. And this has never become more clear to me than raising two small young boys. Like, one is sensitive. He cares a lot more about people's opinions and pleasing you. The other is really young and tiny, but he's brave. He's courageous. He has more scrapes on him than I think I've had in my entire life, because he just keeps going and keeps fighting. Like, they both have energy that I cannot contain for the life of me. I can't get them to sit still. I'm soft-spoken. And I'm like, I just want to sit and drink my tea and enjoy some quiet time. Right? There's variety. There's different. The fact is this. We are God's most creative act. We are where God decided to show off his creativity. And if God wanted you to be like other people, he would have just made us all the same. But he didn't. He chose to surprise us by putting parts of his personality and putting parts of his character and showing off himself through you and through me and through that person that drives you absolutely nuts. Every single one of us, he is showing a part of us. And so I encourage you today, be yourself and allow other people to be themselves. Like, this is the truest starting point for God's love. Because here's the truth, and I want you to hear this. God has never looked in your mirror and wished he saw somebody else. God has never looked in your mirror and wished he saw somebody else. So stop wishing it yourself. You are exactly who God created you to be. You are unique, you are special, and you are loved by your Creator. And so I want to share another question with you. I want to ask you another question. This had a lot of traction over the past couple of days, and so I want to ask another one, and just send me a direct message. Like, I will share those, or share this to your story, and I'm going to share your share. And I just want to get this message out. But the question, what part of yourself could you embrace more? What part of yourself could you embrace more? And guys, I am looking at you too. I had mainly girls message me, guys, look at me. If you're still in this with me, what part of you could you embrace more? When you look in the mirror and you say, I wish I was this, I wish I looked like this, I wish I could be this, I wish I could have this, what part of you, the way you are now, could you embrace more? I hope this was encouraging. I'm praying for all of you. Send me a direct message so I can pray for you specifically. Have a great morning, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow.